Welcome to week 9 of Design 330. So we have completed our product design portion of this class, and we're going to start working now on mechanical systems. This will mostly be Revit work rather than inventor work that we've done in the past. And we're going to start with something called a project walkthrough. It's important at the beginning of any project to learn as much about it as you can so that as you're doing your design work, it's fully appropriate and meets all the needs of the client. And that's usually done with something called a walkthrough. And that can be physical, walking through the building and talking about it. It can be done via drawings and coordination meetings. We're going to do a little bit of both. And so this week, we're going to do the walkthrough, and then in future weeks, we'll start focusing on doing the heating and ventilation. We'll do a little bit of plumbing, and if we're able to, we might do a little bit of electrical, but we'll focus on the HVAC first. Okay, so there's really not much in the way of individual videos to go through, but let me show you what we've got up. So we have this nice empty right now list of pre-recorded lectures and things. This video will go in there shortly. But all of the skills that you're going to be using are based on what you learned in either Design 325 or Design 328. And so it's not part of this class to teach you the Revit skills that you're going to need. Now, if you do have questions, you're certainly welcome to write to me, and I will do demos in the labs. As a matter of fact, I will be doing a simulated walkthrough during the Wednesday open lab that you see over here. And so that will be your opportunity. If you can't do it on your own in the simulation, you can watch my walkthrough. So let's take a look at the activity guide. I'm going to open that up in a new link. And there are some items on Google Drive, resource files. Let's take a look and see what those are. I've given you a build out project. So this is a sample. This is what you should have at the end of this week. Couple of tracings. Now, notice mine are all orange. Yours won't be orange. That's just so that you can't copy and paste mine. Yours will have the white background as always, but you'll have a Sacramento map, a Natomas Crossing map, and then the actual site. And of course, this is made up, but I've used real places, and there is a building on this site that's very similar to what we've got programmed in. And so you'll go through this, and you've got some views to make, some note views, some little calculation pages, and yours will look like this. Right now, there will be no calculations, so you're just going to use the XYZ number placement. Those do not get numbers this week. You will add them in as we go in the following weeks. But this is all text, okay? But they are all in drafting views. You've been given these 3 views, but you need to make the regions and add the text so that it looks like this. But that won't take you too long. That's about a 15-minute job, 20-minute job, 20-minute job to make those. The views are already created. You just need to do the work to put the regions in to make it look like that. Now, these are all the individual drafting views that you're going to make. And so you can see they're not too hard. I mean, that should take you about 15 minutes to make. And then you copy it and do a little minor amount of changing, copy a minor amount of changing, some blocks. This is probably, and this is a copy and paste of this text, although you can type it in yourself. Okay, so these are just the different views that you'll have to make. So this is here for you. you can see there's a bunch of pages for you to do. These are already there, so you don't have to worry about those ones. Again, this view is already made, but you have to put in the region and the text. So these are all things that I believe you can look at the sample and create from the Revit file that I have provided for you. The Revit file is on Google Drive, and it's also in the instructor's drive. Okay, here's your basic building to work with. Here are the client's requirements. Here's the general notes that you get to copy and paste into Revit. And here's a title block for you to use. So that should give you everything you need. You do not need the air diffuser performance data this week. That will be for next week. Okay, so that's your information that's there. And what are the goals? The goals are to understand the client's proposed building use. That's what this week is about. So you should simulate a building walkthrough. Of course, we don't have a real building to walk through, but we do have a 3D simulation that I will demonstrate on Wednesday, and I will video it to show you what a walkthrough is like, or you can come along with me. And then you need to do that project preparation, right? This is all preparation. We're not doing MEP yet. We're setting up the Revit project so that we can start working with it. So let's take a look. What does a building walkthrough look like? And I expect you to get this activity 1 done in about an hour. So there's a little bit of reading to do. Where do you find that? You find that right here. You just need to read this and get good at it. My suggestion is that you make a copy of yours for yourself and then start making notes so that you know where things are. You can go to the building and check it out and make sure that you see where things are, but really understand what the building is about, what the requirements are. If you don't know what a fume hood is, you can look it up. If you don't know what an autoclave is, you can look it up. If you're not sure what product storage or staging is, you can look it up. Okay, so it's your job to kind of get into this and see what you know. And then here's the project requirements. And this week we're doing this part of it right here. We're doing the architectural preparation. And this is going to be what's called a rough MEP or a 10%, 20% design. We're just laying it in. We're not doing the final calculations. It's not going to be for approval. It's just giving the mechanical engineer the basis of what we can work with. Where do you expect things to be located? Kind of where they might route. Where in the ceilings we might put supports. And we'll work on that. We're going to do the HVAC and the plumbing, and then we're going to do details. Okay, so you're going to need about 16 details made. We're not going to do details this week, but next week you're just going to start drawing details, and we'll go over that next week. Okay, and your goal is a complete sheet set or submittal set that includes, they're all going to be D size, 22 by 34, and they'll all be black and white. So you can look this over, and I think you can go here. That was a little hard to get to. I'm going to have to put that in another spot. Let me copy that and put that right here so that it's easier to click on. This is the building right here. When you go here, it will take you to the building. This is in something called Unity. And it's just like any old game. If I click inside of it, I can use the mouse to look around, W to walk forward, S to walk back. I'm not even sure even the arrow keys work. You can use the arrow keys if you want, and you can just walk and go through things and go check out the facility. And our job is to go through this facility and know where we have to put heating and ventilation and where we have to put plumbing and eventually where we have to put electrical. Escape helps you get out of it. Okay, so you're going to do that. And then you're going to need a checklist of things that you might need to know. And I'll show you how to do that on Wednesday as I go through mine. Okay? And then you'll want some coordination notes. You'll do the walkthrough, record your screen. You will need to do that on your own. You need to get into it. And then make notes. All right? So those are going to go through there. And I'll demo that on Wednesday. So the whole purpose of this is to understand the client's proposed building use and simulate a building walkthrough. Okay. The goal on this is initially a big empty building. And so since it's an empty building, we need to design its use. And a build out is filling it up. So the build out would take that empty building and install all this equipment, install the tanks, install the lights, install the shelves, install the HVAC, put in the bathrooms, put in the offices, build these offices out, build out this lobby. So there's a big empty shell, and whoever is going to lease it to this company is going to offer some amount of money from that lease to build it out. So that's what we're simulating. So that shouldn't take you much more than an hour. Okay, that's my expectation for that. Don't spend more than that. But then when we get into activity 2, I'm expecting about 12 hours of work. Now, for some of you, that might be 15. It might be a little bit more, or it might be less. Okay, and so I've given you the link to that representative sample that I just showed you. And your first activity is to just create for yourself a list of views that you're going to need to complete sheet A101, 102, and 103. And I would create those views in Revit. So, right? Open up your Revit file and create those views. This one's a drafting view. This one's a this one's a that. You're mostly going to be creating drafting views this week. Okay, then place the views that are already made. There are a number of views, as I showed you, that were already made. Here's a link to your title block. Okay, and note, my sample is orange. Yours will be standard white background with black text. I just made mine orange so that you can have a very good complete sample, but of course you can't just cut and paste that thing. You have to have your own. Okay, so get the building file, figure out what you have to make and what's already made for sheets A101, 102. And by the way, you do have to make these sheets. Those sheets do not already exist in the file. Okay. And then create the new views needed to complete those sheets. Okay. Some of them already exist, but as I said, you have to do some fixing up. Now, when you make your drafting views, be sure to make them 1-to-1, and they're set for an 8-inch width. Most of them are 8 inches, although you can go into the sample and see some of them are more than that. Many of them are 8 inches wide, so you can do that. And many of those, as I suggested to you, you can actually just create one and then duplicate, because then everything is all set up. Okay? These are things that I'm expecting that you already know how to do. And so if you don't, please email me or get a hold of me somehow and let me know that you don't know how to do it, and I will do a demo on Wednesday and on Thursday for that. Okay, so you're going to be looking at 12, 13 hours to get the work done this week. from here on out, you're going to be looking at that. It's mostly just plug and chug work. There will be a little bit of new work, which is calculations that will set your design in the future. But a lot of what we're doing from here on out is just good, solid design and drafting work, all based around something that we're doing. Now, I want to go over this really quickly. If you'll notice that what we're doing here is we're taking we're of course this is made up, but it's very realistic. This is exactly what I did year in and year out as a designer. Um, we've just designed gearboxes, and those gearboxes can be used in pumps. There's a pretend company called ARC Design Environmental Pumps, and they're an expanding company. They're on the verge. They're up and running. They're doing cool stuff. And right now, and this is, by the way, taken from it's modeled after a company in Davis that does do this. They do this exact same work, and they are set up this way. And they have recently, about 3 years ago, done exactly what we're doing here. They moved from 3 separate buildings into one that they purchased. And this is what they did. They provided equipment for environmental sampling. They provided the service. They would even go out and do the sampling. And then they had environmental engineering support to agencies that would be like the state of California or the SAC regional sanitation department, or to contractors who needed to do this. And they performed environmental water quality control reports and remediation plans. And so if you really want to understand what's going on with this project, you can look up what is a water quality remediation plan and what are water quality control reports. There's just tons of stuff about this. If I get a chance, I'll try to get Diane, my friend Diane, who does this for the city of Davis. She is the civil engineering manager for the city of Davis, and this is her life, is doing all these reports for the city of Davis and making sure that city of Davis has clean drinking water and disposes of its sanitation work properly. So this is real deal stuff. This is exactly like what happened a few years ago with a company that I'm very familiar with. And it goes through our whole environmental regulatory process. Okay, and so this is in our mock-up what they do. They provide necessary services. The guy that I worked with actually got on a boat in a river. He made the equipment. He went out and he made the equipment, and he set up test sites, and he got them up and running so that they would be somewhat automated. But he still had to go out in a boat every week and check all these sites, and it was a real bummer. So that's why he loved the remote operated vehicle that we started working with. And they do planning and initiation of remediation projects. That means when something goes wrong, you have to remediate it to make it right. And they provided specialized equipment for sampling and processing the scans. Okay, and so in this case, they're expanding rapidly, just like the company that I worked with. And really, now with the advent of AI, predictive software, they can start taking those trends and knowing what's going to happen based on what's happened in the past, and start doing remediation well in advance. And everything that you can do in advance saves money. And so AI and predictive software is really revolutionizing this field. Okay, and so in our sort of project, the company rents 3 small facilities, one for each of its operations. Okay, and you can go back here and find out what those are: equipment, service, engineering support. Okay, and they want to consolidate those into one building. So their goal then is to find an appropriate building, such as this one. And, this particular one is set up where this is a shared space with other occupants, which saves some money, right? All of that square footage isn't used for just this group. So they would have this as a shared space, and this then would become their space. Okay, and here is your engineering and data services, and here's your actual staging and creating the equipment and renting the equipment and going out on service. Okay, and here's the small test lab. So we'll go through that for you and look that over. So that's the week. Let's see what else is up. That's your activity. What you'll be asked to turn in drawing wise are your sheets A101, 102, and 103, plus any notes from your design review. Your activity, discussion activity, will actually include a part of that. So videos are worth 1,000 words, man. So your goal is to take a video of you doing your walkthrough. Up to you how to do that. I think at this point you have plenty of options on how to do that. Okay, and you should show that you've gone through the entire building. As you go through it, you should name each area as you progress through it. Now you're going to see me do that, so you'll have an example of it, and yours won't have to be quite as detailed as mine. Describe the purpose of each area as you walk through it, which you saw me do kind of already, and describe what you see. It is really important that you can verbalize what you see, and whether it be in a walkthrough or on a drawing, you need to be able to describe those things. So here again is a link. If you're doing this on VMware, it's really laggy. So use it native in a Chrome browser. Open up a Chrome browser and pop this into that link. It's very quick and easy then. And it works on it might work in Safari, but open up a Chrome browser, whether you're on a Chromebook or on a computer. Okay, here are your mouse controls, and you can use the arrow keys. It just barge through any doors. So post your video, and then look at 3 other ones and just look and see. The goal of doing this is that you guys collaborate with each other a little bit, and by watching the other ones, you might find or hear something that you missed in your own. Okay. So now here's ways that you can do it. Now, if you're on a Windows machine, if you do that little window button plus G, it brings up a control panel that will just record what you're doing. You don't need any fancy stuff. And I think on a Mac is Command Shift and H. Okay, and then hit the Windows key, Alt R. Starts recording, but I like to do this. So this one should actually be on the Windows machine. So those are really easy ways to do it, and just pops it onto your drive. If you're on a Chromebook, I'm not positive how you do that. You might need to go into OBS or Canvas Studio. You can do this in Canvas Studio right there, Studio. And you're able to do it from there. But, or you know what? Take a picture on your phone, take a video on your phone, and upload that. I can't show every technology available possible, so that will be up to you to figure out. Okay, but in this case, you're going to post your video. It should take you maybe 5 to 10 minutes to do your walkthrough, and then review 3 others. And you can do those on fast speed if you want. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have coming up here? Here's your executive summary. come up in just a moment here. So this is very typical. You know how to do this. It's your building walkthrough. 1.1, I want to know, show me that you understand the build out requirements. So understand is different than just posting it. So you're going to need some annotations here. You'll probably want to make clips of this and make some notes about it so that you know, have an idea of what that means and what the building is being used for. Okay, so this is more than just cut and pasting some images of this. Okay, I want you to really look through it and show me that you've read it and understood a little bit. Let's see what else is up on here. Show me your checklist. When you're doing your walkthrough, what do you need to know? Okay, and just think about that. I'm going to be doing some design. What will I need to know? For sure, you're going to need areas. You're going to need volumes. You're going to need how the building is being used in different areas. You're going to need how many people are going to be in there. So you're going to need to make your own checklist that would help you design. Okay, and if you haven't done that before, just ask some questions and watch mine. Okay, and look, this is an opportunity for you to learn too, right? If you've never done it before, but I want you to think a little bit. You're going to be confronted with these types of activities that you've never done before when you get into industry. And so in a little bit of a way, this is putting you in a position where you have to try to figure something out and just try something. And if it, wasn't quite what I was looking for, I'll let you know, but it won't really affect your grades so long as I see that you've put some thought to it. Do your walkthrough and document the results. All right. And make sure that you show that you've visited me. I want to see that video that you've done the sites, and you can do insert video right there and pop your video right in. And then we've got section 2, which is the majority of the work. These ones should be fairly quick. This is the majority of the work. Cover page and space plan pages. That's 2 of the pages. Then you've got your notes and your sign-off page. And projects. Oh, I think I've got that in there twice. Let's see. 2.1, 2.2. Notes. I think this is this should just be the cover page. I'll go back and check that out. It's essentially the 3 pages. Let's go back and look at this. A101 through A103. That's what I'm looking for. I'll fix that up so it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, I'll just do that as soon as I get a chance. Okay, and then of course you've got this one to do, and be sure to link your Google folder that has your files, and be sure to change this to green. Okay, that one is going to turn green when you do your certification. Put your name in there. Okay, so there we go. That's it. Your submittal sites are up and available. So I look forward to seeing your good work. Feel free to get a hold of me on my calendar if you're having any questions. It does start getting a little filled up already, but that's okay. And I'm looking forward to seeing your good work.